All right, let's dive into a story that on the surface is about an orphaned monkey and his favorite toy, but if you dig a little deeper, you'll find it connects some really wild dots between controversial psychology, the bizarre economics of going viral, and even a surprisingly deep history of 90s video games.
So, meet Punch-kun. He's a Japanese macaque who became this massive, unlikely global sensation. And it all started with this one image of him, just desperately clinging to a stuffed orangutan. It captured the hearts of millions, and believe me, it set off a chain of events that nobody could have seen coming.
Because what looked like a simple, kind of heart-wrenching story of survival, it wasn't simple at all. It quickly spiraled into something way more complex, a phenomenon that actually reveals a ton about us, about our culture, and about the really strange ways the internet works.
To really get it, our story doesn't start on social media. It starts at the Ichikawa City Zoo in Japan with an immediate life-or-death crisis. So Punch-kun was born dangerously small and was immediately rejected by his mom, who was a first-timer. It's a tragic thing, but it's not super uncommon, especially during a crazy heat wave. His survival, literally, depended 100% on the quick thinking of his human caretakers. But the zookeepers, Kosuke Shikano and Shinpei Miyakoshi, they knew that just giving him milk wasn't going to cut it. Not even close. You see, infant monkeys are hardwired to cling. It's not just something they like to do. It's a deep biological need for their brains to develop right and for them to feel stable. They tried a few things, like rolled up towels, but then they found the perfect solution in, of all places, IKEA. The Djungelskog orangutan toy had the right shape, the right texture, and this long fur that was just perfect for Punch-kun's little hands to grip onto. It instantly became his surrogate mother. Now here's where it gets really fascinating. Punch-kun's story, completely by accident, became this perfect, real-world example of a revolutionary, and back in the day, a deeply controversial psychological theory. See, for a long time, the leading scientific idea was that babies love their mothers just because they provide food. It's a pretty cold, transactional way of looking at it, right? But then this psychologist named Harry Harlow came along and basically said, hang on, I think we've got this all wrong. In his famous and, pretty controversial experiments, Harlow gave baby monkeys a choice: a cold wire mother with a milk bottle, or a soft, cuddly cloth mother with zero food. And the results were just stunning. The baby monkeys would dash over to the wire mother for a quick drink of milk, and then spend the rest of their day, up to 18 hours, clinging to the soft cloth mother for what Harlow called contact comfort. And this is a perfect illustration of what Harlow found. That IKEA toy is Punch-kun's secure base. Zookeepers saw it happen over and over. After a stressful moment, he'd run back to his toy, calm himself down, and then find the courage to go back out and try to socialize again. It's the theory in action. Okay, so once Punch-kun was healthy, he had to be integrated with the zoo's main troop of about 60 other macaques. And this is where the story the internet thought it was seeing went completely off the rails. So videos started hitting the internet showing adult monkeys chasing Punch-kun and dragging him around. And the global outcry was immediate. People were furious. They demanded the zoo rescue this poor little orphan from his bullies. But primatologists, they saw something else entirely. You see, since Punch-kun didn't have a mom to teach him the super complex rules of macaque society, the entire troop had to do it. What looked like bullying to us was actually tough, but totally necessary discipline. It was the troop teaching him boundaries, manners, and basically how to survive in their very rigid social world. And you know what? This tough love actually worked. After weeks of these difficult lessons, a high-ranking female named Ansing started to groom him. And in the primate world, grooming isn't just about getting clean. It's the ultimate sign of social acceptance. It's about building alliances. He was finally in. Of course, all that nuance about primate behavior was completely lost in the viral wave. The powerful, emotional story of the little monkey and his toy had now taken on a life of its own, and it was having massive, real-world consequences. The zoo was just completely overwhelmed. I mean, imagine this. A facility that's used to local families suddenly becomes a global tourist hotspot. Over 8,000 people showed up in a single weekend. Many of them had flown internationally just to get a glimpse of Punch-kun. And then there was the toy. The Djungelskog plushie became this intensely desired object. It wasn't just a toy anymore. It was like a relic, a piece of the story you could actually own. It sold out in countries all over the world, which led to a really nice gesture from IKEA Japan. Their CEO personally showed up to donate a lifetime supply to the zoo. This scarcity created a huge secondary market online. Just look at this. That simple polyester toy, which you could buy for about $20, was being flipped by resellers for as much as $350. That's a staggering markup, driven entirely by what you might call viral empathy. But all of this brings us to a part of the story that almost everyone missed. With all this global attention, where did the name Punch Monkey even come from? The viral videos didn't give him that name. Well, it turns out the zookeepers weren't just picking a name out of a hat. They were making a very specific and honestly a very clever cultural reference. The name is an homage to Kazuhiko Kato, the legendary creator of the anime Lupin III, who worked under the pen name Monkey Punch. And that name, Punch the Monkey, has its own rich history. Decades before our little macaque was even born, it was a cultural force in Japan, first as a series of super popular music albums, and then as a couple of video games. So back in 1998, for the 30th anniversary of Lupin III, these remix albums called Punch the Monkey came out. They got some of the top electronic and club artists of the time to put a new spin on the classic anime themes. And they were a massive, massive hit. The success of those albums led to two totally different video games back in 2000. For the PlayStation, you had this wild, fast-paced rhythm game that used all those remix tracks. But then on the Game Boy Color, you had a much slower, more strategic game called Monkey Puncher, where you'd carefully train a little pet monkey to become a boxing champion. So in the end, the punch monkey phenomenon isn't just one story, is it? It's this incredible collision of primate biology, decades-old psychology, viral economics, and almost forgotten pop culture. It's just a perfect example of how the internet can take one simple emotional image and wrap it in all these layers of meaning we never could have imagined, revealing just how strangely and wonderfully we all make sense of the world.